Obviously, the government is always to be held responsible for any bigger events in a country. That's obvious to anybody. As I understand it right now, you're lacking a functional local government, which in fact would be much more able to handle issues such as that. Obviously, it's a very local issue. It's an issue of poverty. It's an issue of land ownership. It's an issue of education and security, in fact. Obviously, when forests get destroyed like that, you will have increased risk for erosion and big catastrophes during big rains. And obviously, this will risk everybody's security and not necessarily just the person who set the fire. I feel that the government should take its responsibility in terms of informing people of the risks at hand. And obviously, I feel that if the government at present is not doing so, obviously somebody else would be able to possibly be more able to take that responsibility, as this is now being not on the table of the present government. Instead of looking at it as when you burn down forests you gain money, people should be looking at that as losing money, because the biggest asset you have here is your nature. It's the rivers, it's the forests, and it's the tourist. It could be the tourist groups it could bring, the trekking opportunities, the drafting, the off-road tourism that it could bring here that would be extremely lucrative and in fact would affect positively all parts of society. So in fact it's a huge waste that one would consider it a gain. But I think that's all I want to comment on it further. But yes.
Present government seems to be very much preoccupied about the constitution and making the new constitution. So, I think that's one of the reasons it doesn't have the time or the energy or the will to tackle these kinds of problems in the local level. And I think that this problem could partly be erased by the new constitution. When you get that, you can actually have a government focus on other things, the poverty, the forests, and the local issues more. But I think that it's also the problem of the generations and the older generations being much attracted to their own power and willing to keep that and cling to that, and perhaps the younger generation would be more conservative towards the nature or thinking these kinds of things.
Pressure should be on the government, and it's the government principle to do these kind of things. It's their responsibility. So on this question, I feel that the pressure and the initiative shouldn't be that much on the people, because it is government job to do these kind of things, and you should pressure the government to do their job.
But obviously the level of the conversation between people and politicians is quite challenging here in Nepal, because, for example, in Finland, if we want our own politicians to get interested in some issue, we just can call them or send email, and the politicians also come to the places where the people are to listen to them. So that's one thing I hope will change also here in Nepal, that you all have opportunity to actually speak face to face with your politicians and tell your opinions for them.
That is true. The industrialized countries are more responsible for the effects of climate change, and the developing countries, they don't bear as much responsibility. So the industrialized countries should financially and in other ways aid the developing nations to tackle this problem, because most of the emissions are from the industrialized nations. But another side on this is that we should also give the proper information to these nations, because otherwise we'll be back to square one in a few decades if large developing countries like China and India are growing rapidly in their industries, and later on, if they don't change their attitude, which can be harmful, it can have effects that will, as I said, take us to square one.
The population in Asia and the third world is at large growing fast. This also means that when you're having a rapid development, you're also having a rapid increase in emissions and pollution at large. And in order to prevail and preserve beautiful nature such as the one in Nepal, you need to be supplied with technology and sustainable solutions that can prevent you from committing to the same mistakes as we've done.
And nowadays we have really intellectual technology, and with that use wisely, we can really do a change. But it needs decisions, and that is politics, and that is economics, and we'll see how it will go. In democratic world, we do together things, and let's see how it will go. I hope the good way.
Well, the constitutional process is very important for Nepal and sustainable development of this country, and it would be really important to get it done in time. But so we've heard it probably won't be possible in like a little bit over 40 days that is left. When we look this situation outside, it seems that it's important to get constitutional law, and it's not matter if it will be done in May. It could be done in August or November at least. You should get it.
Yeah, definitely one of the most important thing is that the constitutional law needs to be implemented. And I don't know what we can actually do for that, but at least we can bring our message to say that we have a pretty well functioning constitutional law in Finland. And that's also really big part of democracy.
Yeah, constitution. That is really, really important thing, the law. And the best thing would be to have a good constitution fast. But if that is not possible, it is better to have good constitution in little bit later than a bad one fast. You must understand, democracy can be slow. And when people come together with different ideas, it can take time. And you find a consensus. Good one, I hope. That is one thing in democracy. Even if you can't have everything you want, you can say what you want. And that eases the pressure when you can know that you have been heard. In Nepal, the different parties must trust each other. And if you can't trust, at least respect. Democracy is something that you sit in a table and you must listen things that you necessarily don't want to hear. But that is democracy. Together you will do it. And this is so beautiful country. Respect each other. That is my message to you. That will bring. And nobody should be left outside. Everybody is humans. We can think about that is something, I don't want to touch that, or that is culture and everything, but we are humans. Remember that. Everyone we have is the same. Whether we are rich or poor, we have difficulties and suffering in our lives. So let's be humans to each other.
I feel that if you get those right, then this country can really get to the next level and improve the economy as well, because I feel that working democracy also brings the best results in economics as well. So it's just not about that you treat people well, which of course is important. It's also that democracy can lift this country and some of these people from poverty to the next level, and hopefully to the industrialized level in some point of history.
With this, we've come to the end of today's program. For further feedbacks, contact us at mnpgtv@gmail.com. GPO Box 8975 EPC 5478 Kathmandu, Nepal. Thank you.